In this video, learn how to effectively trade stock halts. Hi, I'm Mike Bellafiore, co-founder of SMB Capital, and we're a proprietary trading firm located in Midtown Manhattan. And I'm also the author of the trading classic, One Good Trade, and the playbook. In this video, a junior trader from our desk shares in step-by-step detail how he crushed a stock halt opportunity safely in a crazy stock. Let's get to work on sharing these important trading lessons so you can grow your trading account.
So here is a breaking news and halt trades that had been on U1, and this was 9/25/20. And so big picture and catalyst. So company overview, Urban One Incorporated is a Silver Spring, Maryland-based American media conglomerate founded in 1980 by Kathy Hughes. The company primarily operates media properties targeting African Americans. So for the news, this was Bank of America announced today the issuance of a $2 billion equity progress sustainability bond designed to advance racial equality, economic opportunity, and environmental sustainability, the first offering of its kind in the financial services industry. The transaction also represents the first sustainability bond issued by a U.S. bank holding company where the social portion of the use of proceeds will be dedicated to financially empower of Black and Hispanic Latina communities. So for this trade strategy, these halt trades heavily rely on the tape. I need to see elevated volume to get long and decreasing volume to exit. I need to be watching similar names, U1EK, BYFC, and CARV. I need to understand how to manage risk with these halts. And then also watching the bigger and more experienced traders give me ideas on how to manage this trade correctly. So for intraday fundamentals, currently U1 is trading at $4.80, has an ATR of 0.91, an RVOL of 7.8, an average daily volume of 1.75 million, institutional ownership of 8%, market cap of 9.5 million. For the short float, I couldn't find that data, but for the shares outstanding, it was 1.58 million and a wide change of yesterday of 40%. So for my support, I'm gonna be watching 4.8, 4.6, for resistance, going to be 5, 5.7, 6, 6.8, 7, and 7.5. My entry ideas, I'm currently waiting for U1 to unhalts. When it unhalts, I want to see bids coming in above 5 for a range break. There could be more halts, so I'll be careful with my risk when they resume. And then for my exit ideas and risk management, my exit and risk management will be based on the tape and resistance levels. So here are the long-term technicals that I'm going to be looking at. As y'all can see, we've been in this super tight consolidation for over a month now, and that 5.6 is the top of consolidation range since August 27th. 6.6 is a significant level from initial up move and the failure to reclaim momentum. Again, you guys can see. And then 7 is a technical, higher time frame technical analysis level and a psychological number. So definitely be watching this. And then 10 is the previous bottom of this range. So here's a higher time frame consolidation on the hourly. So you guys can see we've been kind of retracing off this $4.70 to $5 level, and every time we pop, we just fade. So it's something to keep in account for this stock. And here are also higher time frame hourly. So this $7 level, you guys have seen been touched before, but we usually fail even with these little run-ups. Here are just higher time frame levels as well. So what I'm gonna be watching now is this news affects not only U1, but a lot of the same sector names on the news. So I'm gonna be watching BYFC, CARV, and U1EK. And just so you guys know, U1EK is the same company, but these are Class D shares. So it consists of 38 million shares compared to U1. So it's a lot less volatile. And you guys can see during this breaking news, we see that high increase in volume and prices increasing and all these same names.
If you want to learn 3 real-world setups that our traders use, including the simple setup that we teach all of our new traders and the setup that turned one of our traders into a 7-figure big money earner, check out the free webinar that we're currently running. Just go ahead and click the link that should be appearing right now at the top right-hand corner of your screen. That's going to open up this free registration page in the new window. So don't worry, you're not going to lose this video. You're going to learn more in a couple of hours from this trading workshop than from years of online education.
So for my trade management, What I want to see is after we unhalt at this 4.9 level, I'm watching the tape to enter into 2 tiers of risk, risking that 4.9. Again, that $5 range is that hourly range we've seen over the month. So my exit targets would be the unhalts and the $6 TA technical level, unless we continue to see buying. So again, I'm just entering in my 2 tiers of risk. We ended up halting at 5.4. Now I'm in this position where I want to decide, once we unhalt, do I take some risk off? And so I decided to take, my first tier off, and I'm watching the tape to see that continuation, see that buying volume. And I end up entering in again into the next halt. And that was my second.
Okay, so let's break this down just a touch more specifically. Can you go back to your daily chart? How important on a scale of 1 to 10 would it be if it got above 5?
Critical. I think that tells me that there could be higher continuation. And this has also been a large, it's been over a month we've been in this consolidation. So this is kind of that change in character. And the last time we did see that, we had volume up into this level. So this gives me really good risk to reward and somewhere where I can really put on that risk. And that's why I was putting on 2 tiers of risk right when that candle unhalted and seeing that price above 5.
All right, good. So this isn't just a technical level. This is a super important technical level. Let's bounce ahead to the halt. So what halt is that? First halt, second halt, third halt, fourth halt?
This is the first halt, or the second halt. Yeah, this is the first after we unhalt the first time, and so now I'm watching, and that 5.
So that matters, right? So it matters whether or not it's after the first halt, or after the second halt, or after the third halt. The earlier the halts, the better it's going to be for you, right?
Exactly.
Okay, good. Now let's flip back to when you're comparing other stocks in the sector. So how are they doing? Are they really running? Are they snoozing? How would you describe their price action?
Oh, they're running, all of them. And so once I see, U1 is in this halt, I want to be going through BYFC, CARP, and U1EK to see if we do have that continuation, especially with U01EK. And we are seeing that volume coming in, which gives me confidence to the upside.
Okay, good. So we've got all 3 of those things that we're highlighting for a reason. That makes this trade more specific. That gets you thinking more specifically that this is super important level. This is the first after the first halt, and the other stocks are truly running. They're not just ticking up. All right, back to your trades.
Awesome. So yeah, once we break above that 5 level, again, that monthly consolidation that we've seen, it gives me a higher conviction. But again, it's all about watching the tape. So I want to see those bids really come in, and we do. So I enter in my 2 tiers of risk. Now, when you unhalt, you have to be careful. And so, it's okay to take some risk off the table, but I should have been more mindful. We're midway through a range, and that next level should have been the $6, $6.20 level. So once I take off that risk and I really see that continuation, that elevated volume coming in, I end up putting it back on that other tier. And so now I'm thinking, okay, we've been very overextended from this VWAP, and I want to see if we do continue. So after we unhalt for the 4th time and go parabolic, my logic has changed. The stock is probably overextended going into that $7 technical level, and it's about 3 ATRs from the news release. So I exit my position, but added back, so I exit my position after we go open to 7, super light volume, we come down, and then you see the flush. That's the change of character on the tape. So now we flush, we halt down, and immediately, once we halt, we go down to 5.4, but immediately rebid. And so now I'm watching the tape. I want to see that 5.8 level hold, and when we do, I enter back on. And we do flash up to 6.2 and 6.3, but again, it's on light volume. So I'm not really seeing that super continuation just yet, but also we're coming into 4 p.m. So I want to be careful about how this trades. And that's basically the more meat of the move. But I'm going to show you how I made a mistake in this stock. So for my trade management and trading mistake, so after U1 unhalts, I ended up getting long right before. And I should have been more mindful of this because, we're not allowed to trade after 4 p.m. But when I was talking to a trader who's a class above me, he said that he believed it was going to open at 358. Ended up not, but I was talking through the trade kind of with him and a couple of the other guys in our chat, and it did end up unhalting, and I was able to get out right after hours for a decent gain. but I ended up breaking those rules. And so that's something that I have to take accountability of. Yeah, I did make money, but coming to a firm, you have to be strict with those rules. And let's just say it did open up where I couldn't get out and I had to get help from my floor manager. That could have been something that I regretted. But so once after we unhalt, we go down exactly into VWAP. And so once this news happens and we have this very strong move, I go and I talk to Armand, who's another junior trader who's a class above me, and we talk through this, like thinking this could really be an after-hour mover. And I think him and a lot of the guys at our firm really killed this trade after hours. So just for the tape and just to say, how critical it was. So once I see U1 unhalt at that 4.9, that 490 level, which is above the monthly range, I enter into those two tiers of risk. We immediately see the tape run into 5.4 with high volume. On the second unhalt, we open up at 560 and I take some risk off. U1 immediately runs into 620, which led me to add back onto that second tier, seeing that volume and seeing that continuation. At this point, we go into the fourth halt and we've done 3 ATRs since the news broke. When the stock resumes, U1 heads back into $7, that technical level, but it's on low volume. And that's when we see the tape switch and we see that flush. And so I exit my positions at 6.9 and 6.50. And after the flush from 7, U1 immediately rebids and stabilizes at that 5.80 level. And so that gave me a good risk to reward, shorts covered, and now we're stabilizing. And so I enter back on that, but I exit on the low volume spike to 6.30.
So Ty, is there something about the float in this stock or the short interest in this stock that you're also taking into account as potentially driving the stock higher?
Yes, so there's only 1.5 million shares, and so that's a low float. It's actually pretty close to a micro float. And so if you have, it can be very volatile, and that's why I chose U1 over BYFC and CARB and U1EK. I thought it was going to give me more volatility to the upside, and also knowing that shorts could get squeezed in this. Now I couldn't find the short interest on this, but knowing from our firm we have traded this to the short side before as well. And just seeing how it traded with that volume gave me confidence to take these long positions.
Yeah, okay, because you really do want to have behind this idea some reasoning, some thesis as to why this thing's going to run super parabolic. That's what makes this worth taking a shot at, is that it can get super parabolic.
Yes, sir. I definitely think with the news and seeing how that same, almost the same sector was trading together with that news, it gave me even more confidence. And I think it was pretty big news, though. I think, the first of Bank of America to do this in $2 billion, that could really impact the stock, especially, with only 1.5 million shares, it could give us great volatility.
Good. That's all going into it. Low float, big technical level, good news catalyst, other guys in the sector are running. First halt. That's all helping a lot.
So just for the trade review, I think I did a decent job of scalping and managed my risk on this trade. Sticking with the trade instead of just one scalp helped me secure over 2 times the profits. Shorter term time frame levels and scaling in and out accordingly helped me give me good risk to reward. But one of the bigger things is watching, our 8-figure traders, Swang and Sharp, catch both sides of the trade gave me an understanding of how the bigger and more experienced traders think. I should have put a limit orders closer out to 7 just to really fight for that price instead of having to scale out manually. That's something I'm going to really work on. And also this trade definitely could have been turned into a swing trade after hours. And I think it gave me a lot more confidence talking with Armand and a couple of the other guys that really killed it after hours and seeing how cleanly it worked off VWAP. And then finally, just trade these names bigger. This is something where, if you have good risk to reward and you're not risking, more than you can make, those can set up for great trades.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of things right here. And I want to highlight some of them for some of the younger guys that are listening. So one, terrific job talking to other guys in the middle of this trade. Terrific job reaching out in the chat with some of the other guys, getting their feedback, seeing what they're doing. Really good job also using our technology to see what some of the, as you said, 8-figure traders this year are doing in this particular name. Really, really terrific job. And don't see people do this very often, but great job comparing how this stock is doing with other stocks in the sector to give yourself a feel for how much this can go up. That's really well done. I would encourage you to keep doing more of that. Solid job understanding technically where this stock, if it gets above, can really run just based on technicals. And then I think you mentioned you want to trade this bigger, which is fine, but you do a really good job of being a natural risk taker here. So there's going to be people that aren't going to want to take this trade because they're not comfortable with the risk. But what I'm seeing from you here is you are a natural risk taker. You're willing to take risk as long as the reward is there. And you're not just focusing on the overall risk, but you're comparing it to the reward. So you're taking risk appropriate when there's a lot of reward. A lot of traders can't do that. They just only are there for reward if there's very, very small risk. And part of what you see with really, really great traders, particularly when they get to 8 figures, is they look at it as risk and reward. They don't just look at it as risk. And they're willing to push the buttons. They're willing to get long. You know, Max is a natural risk taker, does this very well on our desk. You know, they will push the buttons naturally and are happy living with the results. So you do that really well here.
Thank you, sir. And yeah, I would just add on to that, just watching Swang and Shark, play this from both sides and then the unhalt to 7 and seeing that flush. And I know they killed it. So that was really cool to see how they think, and definitely want to incorporate that into future trading, is to be able to take those both sides.
Hey, go ahead and click our subscribe button so you don't miss any of the videos that we're producing for you in the trading community. And please take the time to add your feedback in the comments section for what videos you'd like for us to produce next and what you found helpful from this video. From all of us at SMB, train and trade well.